Hi everybody, Martyn the Flicker Feathers again today. I'm tying the Eel Punt. It's basically a flat wing variation sort of developed for striped bass, but it's a very good fly for, well, any of the saltwater bass species. I'm tying these up to use in Tokyo Bay. If you live in Europe, the European sea bass will eat them as well. Now I'm tying a black version, but you can tie different colours. I've got here a sort of olive version with a wee bit of white. Could be a sand eel, sand lance, but you can mix and match to suit yourself. As always, I'll put a materials list in the description, along with a link to the Patreon page for anybody that wants to support the channel. Get access to the monthly fly tying classes and enter the giveaways. So I've got my hook and my vise. This is an SL12 Gamakatsu. It's a size 2.0. But use whatever quality saltwater hook you like. And I've run on a bed of black Danville's 210 here. And I mean, this fly is really simple. There's only two more materials, and it's hackle and bucktail. Some people like to add a bit of flash or a bit of marabou. That's up to yourself. I don't bother. And I'm using a dark blue here for this one. You could use purple, you could use black, red, chartreuse, whatever. But the dark blue, this is a night fly. I'm not going to be fishing this from the boat. I'm going to be fishing some of the estuary areas where I want a strong dark silhouette. Length of the bucktail, I'm going to say a hook and a half. It's just enough to support the feathers and help prevent them from fouling. Just tie them in. I'm taking a kind of loose wrap at the back there so the bucktail doesn't flare too much, and I can tighten it as I go down. Trim that away. Just make sure all the butt pieces are going to be within the length of the body. They don't need to be the same length. It's nice if you get a wee bit of a taper. Tidy everything up. Now for durability, I like to come in with some thin head cement. Just get it on there. I'm going to grab a wee bit of fluff from the waist of the old hackle, the hackle from the last fly basically. Dab it on. I like to sort of push it down on top there and tie over. And it just gives a wee sort of flat pad to tie in the tails. So I've got 4 saddle hackles, and they're getting progressively longer. Right, I took them from, this is just a whiting. It's a low grade whiting saddle. You can buy flat wing saddles, you can use strung, as long as you want sort of thinner saddle hackles, because they swim a bit better and they give you that long slinky profile. So I'm going to take the shortest one, which is going to be just slightly longer than the bucktail. I'm going to tie it in just past where the stem becomes brittle. It's still a bit thick there, which the wee bit of stiffness near the hook bend again helps prevent them from fouling. Just lie it on top, the shiny side up, and you'll find it will sit perfectly because you've got that wee pad of flew from the hackle before. trim that, and I'm just taking the thread in open spirals just to get that under control and out of my way. Then I'll repeat that. I'll get another hackle. This one's slightly longer. So this is coming 10mm longer or so, half an inch. Same again, just trim that and lash it in so it's not moving around. And I make sure that my tie-in point is not creeping forward. And then just repeat. I'll let this one be even longer. So this one's coming to 3/4 of an inch past the last one, so like 15mm or whatever, 18mm. Trim that a wee bit shorter so I'm getting the taper. And then the final one will come back catch it in, make sure it's flat at the tie-in point, tidy up, trim away, and this is giving me an overall fly. It's about 8 inches long, 20 centimetres. You can tie them bigger, by all means. You can make them longer. You know, it's supposed to represent an eel, but just make sure all the hackles are lying on top of each other, nice and flat. You don't want them twisting and rolling around. For the front of the fly, the head of the fly, I'm using some schlappen, and I'll just take it from the back of this saddle. The same saddle that I used before. I had my first one. And then, before I cover all this up with the thread, I'm going to come in with some more head cement, nail polish. Right, I'm not using glue, or I'm not using super glue because these are going in the salt water. Right, the acetate is salt waterproof, so acrylate isn't. I'm just covering all that up. I'll just let that sort of soak in. You can wipe away any excess, but you've already driven the varnish right in there. Now I'll take my piece of schlappen. Make sure you don't pick up any of these hackles, right? And then I'll get this on, and I'm sweeping the feather back, getting some of that marabou-like fluff at the bottom. I'm going to come into the schlappen. As this shortens up, I'm going to use my hackle pliers just so I don't trap hackle barbs. And as I come forward, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down right into some of these shorter hackle barbs because they're a wee bit stiffer and they'll support the soft fibres of the next feather, right? Basically, these have just got enough stiffness that the flue of the next feather won't collapse just as much, and it'll give you a bit more water push, which is what you want. You want to push a bit of water at the front, create some turbulence, and that is what will really make that tail wiggle and swim. get your next one. And you can see there, because of the way I've tied it, I've built that taper in, and the hackle should just run down there nice and easily. There won't be a jump or a step. And just the same. This one was a wee bit shorter, that's fine. And it's up to you, maybe you prefer less of the marabou like feather, more of the schlappen stuff. There's plenty of movement in the fly either way, it's just what you like the look of. I like that wee bit slightly heavier looking head. Probably got room for one more. And what I'm going to do this time is we'll tie it in by the tip end. Oh, that's nice. So that the long fibres are going to sort of veil back from the head. And I've still got that wee bit extra support from the slightly stiffer hackle-like fibres in front. And just keep going, just fill up the hook basically. Perfect. When you get to the eye, just bend the hackle over this thread, fold it over, just got a quick finish, and another one, build a neat head. Snap that away. And there's your eel punt basically. Easy enough to tie. Swims fantastically in the water. Definite fish catcher. It's good, like, quite often as well, it's a good way to sort out like smaller fish. If there's a lot of schoolies and you're trying to get to a quality fish, you might get bumps but you'll not end up hooking the small fish as much. It takes a bigger fish to suck the whole thing in. So I hope that was useful, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up below and subscribe to the channel. Tight lines guys, bye.